Heavy support. Um, Support weapon battery is your first choice. Is 20 points weapon, and you can bring up like 3 support weapons as one heavy support choice. So it's pretty, they're pretty nice. I don't usually use them, so I'm not really going to talk about them that much. You just kind of bring, whatever weapon you like, except they all have to be the same weapon. You can't bring like, one D cannon, one Shadow Weaver, and that type of thing. They're not a bad choice, and the reason why is because they're cheap, like I said. So, you could spend like, 60 points on like one heavy support. If you're trying to like just throw in like last minute points and you need something. But other than that, you can kind of just deck it out the way you want the unit. All right. Well, Dark Reapers. Other than that, Dark Reapers are your second choice, and they're 35 points. They are quite expensive, but they are pretty devastating, and they're a great choice. They really are. You can have 3 to 5 of them. They have the Reaper launcher, which is crazy. It's 48 inches, strength 5, AP 3, heavy, 2. So they're really good unit. And I don't know. I mean, you don't have to bring these guys, but I think if you're playing like Space Marines, anyone that has like armor of a 3, I think in general will just be you'll be a huge. This unit's gonna be a huge thorn in that that army's side. Like every time you're gonna be knocking down and killing. I mean, even Necrons. Like I think I used them once and against some Necron player, and I killed like 5 or 6. That's crazy for Necrons, just with one shooting phase. You can upgrade them for an X-Arch. You can give them the Tempest Launcher, which, I mean, you have to guess up to 36, but strength 4 AP3, 2, heavy 2 blast, which isn't bad. I mean, it's not bad, but I kind of like the Reaper Launcher, just because it's solid, and it's far. You can shoot far with it. Let's see, you can give him Fast Shot, and or Crack Shot. Fast Shot, the X-Arch basically gets 1 plus more to the number of shots that he fires. So I guess if you have a Tempest Launcher, that's pretty nice. Even the Reaper Launcher is nice, but I kind of like that. If I choose Tempest Launcher, I'll choose that, and or Crack Shot, which you get to reroll any failed rolls to wound, which is really nice. The Wraith Lord's up next, and it's 90 points. It's a pretty crazy. I actually love Wraith Lords. They're just naturally tough. I mean, 8 toughness, 3 wounds, 3 armor save. That's pretty good. That's a monstrous creature, and you can arm it with a 1 Shrieking Catapult and a Flamer, or 2 Shrieking Catapults, or 2 Flamers. I usually just choose 2 Flamers, because these guys are really good at bashing up stuff. So you kind of want to get in close combat. You want to use them, shoot them and run them, and kind of like shoot and walk toward the enemy and kind of finish up in close combat. It must be equipped with one of the following: a Star Cannon, a Bright Lance, Scatter Laser, Shuriken Cannon, Outer Missile Launcher, or Wraith Sword. It's fearless too, and it has Wrath Sight, which kind of sucks, but again, you usually don't fail it. I usually just take a Bright Lance for 40 points, and maybe because you have to choose, you can choose a second weapon. I usually would just choose like a Wraith Sword and maybe a Bright Lance. You can choose anything you want. Other than that, I kind of like the Star Cannon. It's kind of nice, but that's the way I run it. Alright, Warwalker Squadrons. I usually don't play them, but one thing I mean, there are scouts, so that's kind of nice. You can have 1 to 3 in a squad for 30, 30 points a model. And with these guys, I mean, you can kind of bring them. It's armed with 2 weapons. You can bring a Star Cannon, Outer Missile Launcher, Scatter Laser, Shuriken Cannon, Bright Lance. I usually just run them with like Scatter Lasers if I do that, because it's cheap, but at the same time you shoot, like I think that's like 4 shots or something. Scatter Laser, yeah, 4 shots. So you have, each guy has like 8 shots or whatever. Even just 4 shots, that's still crazy. So if each have, you can have, 8, so it's 24 shots with these things. the scouts. It's crazy. Alright, Falcon is 115 points. The Falcon's actually not a bad tank. I know your ballistic skill is only a 3, but the pulse laser I think is great. You have far range, 40 inches, strength 8, AP 2, 2 shots. That's pretty good. That's good for killing tanks. It's good for shooting hard infantry that are tough to kill. And you can kind of like transport infantry. Six models except for Wraith Guard, I think. Yeah. You can give it. It's a fast. It's a fast skimmer too. So it's kind of quick and maneuverable. I think it's all around. All around, it's a good tank. I'm not going to go through the war gear specifically, but I think if you bring this thing, it is 115 points. It's a little expensive, so you should. I think if you bring it, you have to bring Hollow Fields and Spirit Stones. And the reason why is, Hollow Fields, they roll 2 and on the damage table and apply the lowest. And Spirit Stones, basically, I think if you get like what was it, stunned, I think they downgraded to a shaken. So, basically, if you don't bring, especially Hollow Fields, if you don't bring Hollow Fields, it's gonna die pretty quick. If you have Hollow Fields, you'll find out how decent it survives in most cases. And the last one's Fire Prism. Again, that's Fire Prism is 115 points. And you can like, if you have 2 of them, you can kind of connect beams and shoot, which is nice. I usually don't do it, but it is nice. But the thing I like about the Fire Prism, it's a fast skimmer. It has 60 inches for its prism cannon, and you can kind of choose what you whatever you're fighting, you can kind of choose whatever you need. If you have like orcs, for instance, you can have a large blast with strength 5, AP 4. That's pretty good with ballistic skill of 4. If you're fighting like Space Marines or Necrons or someone tougher, you could use a large blast, but if you want to really wipe them out, and you want to be sure that they get wiped out, especially not necessarily Necrons, especially like Space Marines or even Chaos Marines, you can use a regular blast, 60 inches, strength 9, AP 2, so 1 shot, which is nice. Again, I always would bring Hollow Fields and Spirit Stones.